Have you ever felt like you're just drowning in data, but at the same time, you're starving for actual wisdom? It's a super common feeling. Well, today, we're going to tackle that head on by exploring data governance, the framework that can turn all that data chaos into a real strategic advantage. So let's dive right in.
Here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start by looking at what I call the data dilemma. Then we'll introduce this idea of a constitution for your data, break down its core pillars, and finally, see the real-world benefits that turn data into a priceless asset. All right, first up, the data dilemma. This is a problem that I'm sure many of us know all too well. So I want you to ask yourself this, honestly. Is your organization's data an asset that helps you win, or is it a liability just waiting to cause problems? You know the signs, right? Marketing has one set of numbers, sales has another, and nobody can agree on the truth. Sensitive customer info is just floating around in unsecured spreadsheets. That's not just messy, it's a massive risk.
So how in the world do you fix a mess like that? Well, it's actually pretty straightforward. You give your data a constitution.
And that is precisely what data governance, or DG, is. It's a formal set of rules and practices designed to make sure your data is accurate, secure, and actually usable. And honestly, the best way to think about it is right there on the screen. It's literally a constitution for your entire data ecosystem. And this isn't just some one-time fix. A good data constitution lays out exactly how data should be handled through its entire life. I'm talking from the moment it's created to how it's used and transformed, all the way to when it's securely deleted.
Okay, so what does this data constitution actually look like? What's inside? Well, it's really built on a few essential pillars that hold everything up. At the very heart of any strong data governance framework are these core components you see here. It all revolves around these key pillars like policies, standards, processes, and, of course, the people. Let's take a closer look at each one of these, shall we? So first, you've got policies. Think of these as the high-level laws for your data universe. They answer the big questions, like how do we collect data, who officially owns it, and who is allowed to see it. Next up, we have standards. Now, if policies are the laws, then standards are the common language that everybody in the organization agrees to speak. This means everyone formats dates the same way, and a customer means the same thing to every department. It sounds so simple, but it's absolutely crucial for being able to combine data from different places without creating a total mess. Then we have processes. These are the repeatable, day-to-day actions, the SOPs, that actually put those policies and standards into practice. We're talking about the step-by-step procedures for everything from cleaning up messy data to preparing it for analysis. This is what guarantees quality every single step of the way. And of course, none of this works without people. The human element is absolutely critical. You typically have a data governance council at the top, setting the strategy. Then you have data stewards, who are the designated owners responsible for specific chunks of data. And finally, you have the data analysts, the people on the ground who use the data, and they do it according to all the rules we've set. And the final pillar, but certainly not the least important, is security. This pillar is all about being the guardian of your data, protecting it from breaches and making sure only the right people have access. And there's a really handy tool for managing this called the CRUD matrix. This is the CRUD matrix. It might sound a little technical, but it's a super simple and powerful way to manage who can do what. CRUD just stands for create, reference, update, and delete. For every single piece of data you have, you can define exactly who has permission to perform each of these actions. It gives you incredibly precise control.
Okay, so we've laid out the entire framework: policies, standards, people, security. You're probably thinking, what's the real-world payoff for all this effort? Well, let's talk about that.
The benefits are huge. Seriously, you get a dramatic improvement in data quality, which means you can finally trust your numbers. You get enhanced security, which protects you from incredibly costly breaches. The right people get better, easier access to the data they need, and you massively boost your compliance with all those data privacy regulations. And what does all of this lead to? Smarter, faster, and much more reliable decision-making.
So let's bring this all home and look at the final incredible transformation that takes place. And really, this slide says it all. Data governance is the engine, it's the critical process that takes that messy, risky data liability we started with and transforms it into a truly valuable, trusted asset that you can actually build your business on. So I'll leave you with this thought. Your data is always talking. It's constantly telling you a story about your business, your customers, your market. The real question is,
Have you put the right rules in place, the right governance to make sure it's speaking a language you can clearly understand and, most importantly, trust?